Hello, we are reaching you live from our newsroom here in Lagos, Nigeria. Coming up on News Now, Inspector General of Police puts commissioners of police on alert as Boko Haram plans to attack Abuja and Jos. Police arrest 250 suspects terrorizing Benue State. Guillermo Cerro, a former prime minister and rebel leader in Ivory Coast, goes on trial for coup plotting. U.S. President directs federal agencies to assess and mitigate serious risks climate change poses. Thanks for joining us. Here are the big stories making the news. I am Michael Nath. The Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has put the commissioners of police in the Federal Capital Territory and Plateau State on the alert over imminent attacks by Boko Haram members. The alert was contained in a May 19, 2021 circular addressed to the two commissioners of police and signed by the principal staff officer to the IGP, Idowu Owohunwa, and acting CP. The intelligence report revealed that terrorists are planning to attack Abuja and Jos. In the circular, the acting IGP directed the commissioners of police to review their security architecture and beef up security around government facilities, particularly in Jos and Abuja. The circular reads, quote, "The proposed attacks would be coordinated by the duo of Mohammed Sani, a Boko Haram commander domiciled in Sambisa Forest, and his deputy Suleiman Hiben Nating around Lawan Musa Zango Kashua, Yobe State." Our former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has advised the federal government to forget infrastructural development and divert all necessary funding to the security forces to secure peace in the country. According to Abdulsalami, if there is no peace, there cannot be a country, as he stressed the need for government to stop every unnecessary development across the country and focus on security. Abdulsalami made that statement when the Senate President Ahmed Lawan paid him a visit to commensurate with him over the death of the father of Senator Sani Musa, the senator representing Niger East Senatorial District. Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Osun, Ondo, and Oyo Zone 11 of the Nigeria Police Force, Olasupo Babatunde Ajani, has solicited the support of all Nigerians to stall the trend of crime and criminality, particularly in Oyo and Osun states. The AIG appealed at stakeholders meeting during his visit to Osun State Police Command while on a tour of formations in the zone.
Unite together and cooperate together. All of us will get there together. Where are we going? We are going to that promised land of peace and unity, where adequate security is key. That is our goal. But without cooperation, we can never get there. So the new police regime that is in power now, we have decided that we want to do transparent policing. We want to partner with the people. No master, no servant. We want to do it together. So that if we do it together, we'll be transparent to each other, and then we talk together, we do everything together. That is why we again reintroduce community policing, which you have known before. We said, okay, let us bring it back. Maybe let us go. Police is now ready to go to the level of the people. So please, police cannot do this thing in vain. I appreciate what you have been doing for us. But let us go deeper inside our own personal houses and talk to our people.
It's therefore, sir, the command's prayer and believe that the AIG's visits at this auspicious time, at this crucial time, will afford you the honor to help the command in looking into the enumerated challenges so as to get the best performance from my disciplined, loyal, and duty-conscious officers and men of the command.
The Nigerian Air Force has inducted 3 newly acquired JF-17 Thunder multi-role aircraft into its inventory. President Muhammadu Buhari was represented by the Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Magashi, performed the induction at an event held on Thursday in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. He said that the induction ceremony was personally rewarding to him as it marked yet another step in his promise to improve the infrastructure and equipment dispositions of the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies for enhanced output, professionalism and service delivery. The president added that the induction of the JF-17 aircraft was indicative of how the Air Force has continued to advance its capability and capacity over the past 57 years while developing competences to achieve its constitutional mandate of defending the nation's territorial integrity by air. He commended the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Aladayo Amao, for remaining at the forefront of fight against all enemies of Nigeria. The House of Representatives has assigned its committees to meet with the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and Minister of Labour, Employment and Productivity, Senator Chris Ngige, on how to end the ongoing indefinite nationwide strike by workers in the judiciary. The resolution followed the unanimous adoption of a motion at the plenary on Thursday. Sponsor of the motion, Sergius Ogun, recalled that Johnson had embarked on industrial action since April the 6th, 2021, due to the failure of the government to implement financial autonomy for the judiciary in line with constitutional provisions and the judgment of Federal High Court. Moving the motion, Ogun said, the House is concerned that the strike, which has persisted for over a month, has paralyzed the functions, operations and activities of all courts in Nigeria, thereby shutting the door on access to justice against Nigerians. The lawmaker, however, hailed the federal and some state governments that had taken steps to resolve the dispute so that the strike could be called off. Benue State Police Commissioner Audu Madeki says the command has arrested 205 suspects who have been terrorizing the state within the month of February 2021 till date. The suspects were arrested for related crime offences such as kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism and mischief by firearms, among others, in various parts of the state. Parading some of these suspects, the State Police Commissioner says the suspects would be charged to court as soon as the investigation is concluded.
I rob woman and rape her with gun. I was riding, me and my brother coming, so they say we should stop. We have no headlight, so we have no headlight. In the evening around 7, to search my house, and they discovered the infant there.
So in essence, we have a total of 205 cases that have been charged to court since my assumption of office. Out of this, about 131 suspects are now awaiting trial in prison custody. They are being charged for various offenses, have been working as a team. We've organized a lot of town hall meetings with various communities, telling them the activities of the command and how best they can also assist the police in discharging their duties. The command all along has been proactive. And that is why we have been recording some degree of successes in our operational plans.
The Senate Committee on Health has debunked rumor claiming that government has stopped paying attention to other health challenges since the emergence of COVID-19. Chairman of the committee, Ibrahim Oleriegbe, said this while briefing Senate correspondents on the 4th Annual Legislative Summit on Health in Abuja. Oleriegbe, who confirmed that only 50% of the 500 billion naira intervention fund for COVID-19 has so far been released.
The budget health sector. It's a multi-sectoral thing. It includes the humanitarian ministry's allocation for all the social interventions. It includes Ministry of Environment intervention. It includes information activities, and even agriculture. So it's a total of 500 billion. But what is in the health sector was actually just 86 billion. It's 126. But even before the budget, some of the initial expenditure affected by the government on the authority of because nature does not above vacuum, the president gives some approval, but it must be captured based on the constitution. So the total was 126 billion, which we approved. So what I'm trying to address is that COVID-19 is an opportunity for us to address our infrastructure. But it doesn't mean that we have closed our eyes to all other things. As legislators and interacting with the government, we continue to look at other issues. But overall, with all sense of responsibility and humility, we have done very well as a country to respond. India, because it's far bigger, and we always talk about India. Nigerians go to India for healthcare, isn't it? It's one of the centers for tourism. See how they have handled COVID-19, see what they are suffering now. We didn't suffer such because we'll be able to meet with it.
A group under the aegis of Clean Foundation has put together 2 days capacity building workshop for law enforcement agencies on anti-human trafficking, forced migration in Edo State. Speaking at the workshop, the program officer on research, Olani Olamayowa, said the group puts up the capacity building and workshop for law enforcement agencies with the intent of increasing the capacity and knowledge in the conceptualization of human trafficking.
The issue of human trafficking and forced migration is discussed. It's one-sided. It's one-sided in the sense that we are always looking at the victim and always looking at the facilitators of human trafficking. And oftentimes we neglect the other side. Agencies of government that have been saddled with the responsibility of mitigating human trafficking one way or the other. For instance, NAPTIP, Nigerian Police Force, Immigration, and I know that Edo State has a task force saddled with that same responsibility. So oftentimes they are not always discussed; they are always at the background. So we felt that it's high time that we engage them too, because of the critical role that they play in solving this menace. It has to stop. Somebody has to be at the very forefront of fighting it to stop, and it's the security agencies.
The public need to be aware that what they see or what the picture they paint or present to them is not what it really is. So there is need for them to be sure of whatever promise anybody is giving them to them before they embark. In short, they should stay away from anything illegal migration, trafficking. It is not healthy at all.
Now, the People's Democratic Party caucus in the Senate on Thursday asked the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to leave its party leadership alone. The lawmakers urged the anti-graft agency not to allow itself to be used to stifle opposition in the country. Members of the caucus said this after a meeting held at the residence of the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Einaya Abaribe in Abuja late Wednesday. They also passed a vote of confidence on the Uche Secondus-led National Working Committee of the PDP. This was contained in a statement signed by Abaribe's media aide, Uche Awom. The statement reads, quote, "It is the exclusive legal preserve of the INEC to monitor the finances of the political parties and how they manage the same. The law is clear that it is the function of the INEC to do so and not the EFCC. It is therefore preposterous for the anti-graft agency to invite the NWC of PDP over a phantom petition by an individual without recourse to what the law says in this circumstance. It is a misnomer and an aberration." End of quote. Now, the PDP senators said they saw the latest EFCC meddling in the affairs of the PDP as a clear usurpation of powers that it does not have and a deliberate ploy to stifle opposition in Nigeria. The caucus added that Nigeria remained a democracy and not a totalitarian state. It was all fun and glamour as friends, associates and other VIPs gather to mark the birthday of the chairman, Pali Agro Nwapali Onyagu. His close friends who graced the occasion eulogized him and highlighted his legacies.
Protecting you, blessing you and your dear wife.
He's been my big brother, my father. I'm so happy to be here today. Thank you. Happy birthday. Bless you.
Collins, happy birthday. One of the things that amazes me about Collins is his very, very wild dreams. The kind of big, hairy, ambitious goals that this man has. You know, there are times when I finish talking to him, I go home and I ask myself, bros, which water was he drinking that I need to drink from?
I can keep on and on talking about this wonderful man. I know, I'm an experienced woman. I know what is there. I know when you talk about marriage, there is marriage and there are marriages. So for me, he's a good man. He's a good man from all sides. He's a perfect man. He's my mentor. He's made me to be a strong woman. You know, he has toughened me up. And I think I can climb the mountains even without him. He has impacted me. And he's a very kind man. He has a heart for everyone. His ears for everyone. You cannot meet him and he will turn his back against you. My P-man, you're a good man. Yeah. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. I just pray that God will keep loving you.
On behalf of all the group, I thank you all. The journey, I didn't make the journey alone. We made it together. Without you guys, I can do nothing. And with you guys, we can do more.
And we all join to wish the chairman of Pali Group, Nwapali Onyagu, a happy birthday and many returns of the day. You're watching News Now here on iBrandTV. We'll take a short break now. We'll come back. We have more stories for you. Stay with us. You're still watching News Now here on iBrandTV. African News Now. The African Union on Thursday called for civilian and military leaders in charge to share power until elections can be organized following the death of President Idris Deby and subsequent military takeover last month. While the AU repeated its earlier calls for a civilian-led transition to elections after 18 months, it said the military officers that seized power, led by Deby's son Muhammad, could continue to oversee security matters in the country. In a statement, the AU's Peace and Security Council underscored the imperative of an inclusive and consensual transition process in Chad run by civilians with a clear separation of roles and functions between the transitional government and transitional military council. Now, the ACMT spokesman said he welcomed the AU's recommendations. Guillaume Soro, our former prime minister and rebel leader in Ivory Coast, went on trial in absentia on Wednesday on charges he plotted a coup against President Alassane Ouattara. Now, the trial got off to a fiery start, with Soro's defense insisting on more time to examine alleged evidence against Soro and the 19 others accused in the case. As a result, the second day of the trial was postponed to May the 26th, said Diallo Suleiman, who is on his legal team. His lawyers have condemned the case as politically motivated and said there is no evidence Soro was guilty of conspiracy. The case has raised tensions in the country, recovering from 2 civil wars since the turn of the century. Soro, who is in exile in Europe, has already been convicted of embezzlement and was sentenced last month. Foreign news now. U.S. President Joe Biden has applauded a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip and emphasized the U.S. will continue to support Israel military. And now Biden said in remarks at the White House in Washington, D.C., as Israel and Hamas agreed to a ceasefire proposal by Egypt to effect early Friday in Gaza. Biden says, quote, the United States fully supports Israel's right to defend itself against indiscriminate rocket attacks by Hamas and other Gaza-based terrorist groups that have taken the lives of innocent civilians. These hostilities have resulted in tragic deaths of so many civilians, including children, and I send my sincere condolences to all the families, Israeli and Palestinian, who have lost loved ones, he said, end of quote. Earlier, in a telephone call with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday, Biden said commended the Israelis for bringing the immediate conflict to an end after 11 days and assured Netanyahu of continuing U.S. military support. Now, President Joe Biden on Thursday directed federal agencies to assess and mitigate the increasing and serious risks that climate change poses to individuals, businesses, and the federal government and the U.S. financial system. Biden issued an executive order requiring development of a comprehensive government-wide climate risk strategy within 120 days, as well as an annual assessment of climate-related fiscal risks as part of the U.S. budget. U.S. officials added that it claims that it harnesses the purchasing power of the federal government, which spent more than $680 billion on goods and services last year by moving toward requirements for major suppliers to disclose their greenhouse gas emissions and climate-related risks. Taiwan's health minister said on Friday he had spoken to his U.S. counterpart to ask for help in obtaining COVID-19 vaccines amid a spike in infections on the island. Taiwan says U.S. Health Secretary will take the matter to President Joe Biden. Now, having for months been held up as an example of how to stop the virus in attacks in trucks, Taiwan has over the past 2 weeks reported a spiraling number of infections in the community, with some 1,800 cases. Health Minister Chen Shih-chung said the situation remained at its peak, but there were no sudden situations that had risen, with authorities able to track the sources of most infections. Taiwan's battle against the virus has been complicated by a lack of vaccines, with only about 700,000 arriving to date, including 410,000 this week. Up next is Sport with Jidechi.
Welcome to the Sports Update. I am Jidechi Chid-Ezia. Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer says he does not expect captain Harry Maguire to be fit enough to play in Wednesday's Europa League final with Villarreal in Dansk. Maguire, at 28 years of age, suffered an ankle ligament injury against Aston Villa on May the 9th. The England defender attended a screening of Sir Alex Ferguson's film at Old Trafford on Thursday without crutches, sparking hopes that he might be fit for the final. Solskjaer, however, said even if he's not fit enough, Maguire will still be in Poland and play an important part in United's preparations as they try to win their first trophy since 2017. And on the local scene, Super Eagles head coach Gernot Rohr has revealed his displeasure over the agreed Nigeria-Mexico friendly in July. Although the federations of both football continental heavyweights agreed a friendly match for their senior men's national teams next month, Raw is uncertain what the fixture at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in California is expected to accomplish. Raw, who says he will be unable to call on the services of his first-team players, revealed that only players from the Nigeria Domestic League will participate in the game against the CONCACAF Gold Cup holders Mexico, with his Europe-based contingent expected to be on vacation or with their clubs in pre-season ahead of the new campaign. The announcement of the game comes after the NFF confirmed a friendly for the Super Eagles against Cameroon in Austria in June, and a 3-game series for the Super Falcons against Jamaica, Portugal, and the U.S. women's national team in Texas. And that's all for now on the Sports Update. Michael, it's back to you.
Thank you so much, Jidechi. You're still watching News Now here on iBrandTV. Business news now. The House of Representatives has asked the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission to suspend the plan to review electricity tariff in June. It also condemned electricity distribution companies for transferring debts incurred by former occupants of building to the new occupants of tenants. At the plenary on Thursday, the House adopted the motion moved by Anyakon Omuna. Following the adoption of the motion, the House urged the federal government to direct NERC to rescind the decision to further increase electricity tariff proposed for June 2021 in view of the hard times Nigerian masses are currently going through. The House further mandated its committees on power, poverty, alleviation, and labor, employment, and productivity to ensure compliance with the resolution. The Nigerian Communications Commission has said Nigerians will have to submit the international mobile equipment identity of their phones to it from July. The regulatory body said this in the Commission's revised national identity policy for SIM card registration. The NCC's move to start the implementation of the device management system, a centralized equipment identity register, is backed by the President Muhammadu Buhari. The NCC said the aim is to curtail the counterfeit mobile phone market, discourage mobile phone thefts, enhance national security, protect consumer interests, increase revenue generation for the government, reduce the rates of kidnapping, among others. The IMEI number is the mobile phone's fingerprint. It is a 15-digit number, unique to each phone. Now, state governors have restated their request to defer the repayment of the loans, which was to have started this month. Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi, who is also chairman, Nigerian Governors Forum, reported interactions with the finance minister and the CBN governor regarding the matter. Now, but the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, also emphasized the importance of the timely repayment of loans, especially those owed to commercial banks, indicating the challenges inherent in a further delay in payments, including audit concerns. The CBN governor said the repayment of the commercial loans should resume this month. And that's News Now here on iBrandTV. Thanks very much for watching. I am Michael Nath.